Hello, everybody, and welcome to Birdeye Live, the show dedicated to the digital transformation of local businesses everywhere. I am your host, Justin Meredith, and join me as we learn from industry experts about the how and the why for taking your business online and claiming the most valuable real estate on the internet, that first page of Google. Now, if you're tuning in to us right now live, please jump in the comments, say hello, let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to hear from you. Now, today we are joined by Birdeye's very own Chief Marketing Officer, Deepak Bari. Deepak joined us earlier this year and was our key host for Birdeye View. Welcome, Deepak. How are you doing today? And, actually, how was Birdeye View for you? What stood out to you the most?
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Justin. And hello, everyone. It was awesome. Thank you so much for everybody who could join us today. We had thousands of people who joined in live sessions, a lot of engagement, a lot of energy. So it was electric, man. I just loved every moment of it. Really enjoyed it. And, there's a lot of exciting announcements that we made. So really excited about it.
Yeah, I'm pumped. We've had just a crazy whirlwind of a week with Birdeye View, and like you were saying, we had so many people tune in, and we had all kinds of great engagement from the audience. It was really, truly an amazing week. Now, we've had some incredible sessions with some truly, truly remarkable speakers who offered their insights into all things customer experience, local marketing, and even AI. And if you tuned into this morning's Birdeye Live, you'll know that one of those remarkable speakers was actually you, Deepak. Your session was live streamed here on LinkedIn this morning, and I particularly liked the part about the 5 pillars of Bird AI. Of those pillars, which one would you say is the biggest game changer?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question, Justin. I think as I shared earlier in my session today, our entire Bird AI platform is built on these 5 pillars, and it's difficult to select one of them. We have AI everywhere, which is the core of our platform. We have made sure that the technology permeates to every end of every touch point, every feature of our platform. So that is core. So is security. We want to make sure our platform is secure, and so is the data of our customers who are going to engage with it on a daily basis. If you talk about contextualization, again, the customers will feel it at every touch point because they are engaging and they are really getting custom responses back with the platform. And human control, humans are at the forefront of everything that we are doing. We are giving the keys to the humans where the technology is accelerating their productivity. But if you ask me one, like the one that I've not spoken about so far, is the best of breed. And this, for me personally, is the most important. There are just so many different models around AI out there, and each one of them is really awesome. They are really awesome at specific use cases. But we don't want our local businesses whose day job is to run their business, to run their location, to start worrying about, should I use Bard for this chat or should I use Chat GPT? Should I go into Midjourney for this image or should I use Firefly? Right? All of this complexity we want to take away from them. And we have our own people, our data scientists, who carry on that burden of making sure that the platform at every given point of time is going to be powered by the best possible model. And that's, I think, is the biggest thing that I'm really excited about, that automatically you are being given the services of the best model out there.
Yeah, that's I love the way that you put that. View wasn't the only big event that came from Birdeye this week, and we're going to recap a little bit of some of the sessions because we had some really interesting moments today. But I wanted to get your thoughts on one of the announcements that we made, which was the release of Bird AI. Can you tell us a little bit more about what comes with that?
Yeah, we are super excited to bring Bird AI to all our customers and prospects. This is something that we have as a company been investing in for the last 10 years, right? We have invested in machine learning, we have invested in NLP, and all of those investments really laid the foundation for what we call today as Bird AI, wherein we have combined that expertise with the Gen AI capabilities of some of these best in class newest models to bring the goodness of it. So think about the impact that it can have on end customers without knowing the nitty gritty of it. A dentist can really engage with customers who are leaving reviews for 10 of their locations, sitting on a desktop on their inbox with the Bird AI platform. They hire somebody who's new to the game. They don't really understand the tone and language. The AI models can create auto responses for them. They can quickly answer those and put their human touch in and post those responses. We heard in Jay's session earlier today, It's so critical to respond to every review that's out there. You just cannot comprehend doing that without the aid of technology like Birdeye. I think that is going to be the game changer. We know social is huge, right? We launched our social product earlier in the year, and it has been a massive success, especially for multi-location businesses. But one feedback that we always heard is that it's becoming too much to manage, and posting of like so many locations. Yes, the platform made it easier to post it, but then somebody had to create those posts, somebody had to write those words, somebody had to find those images. Now with Bird AI, all of that task has been made simplified, right? They can easily create those posts, they can easily generate those images and put them in. And I think those are the game changing moments which I believe. And since the launch of Bird AI, we have been inundated with messages around how customers are really excited about leveraging some of those capabilities. So for me, that is the huge high from the entire view event. Just seeing that customer feedback, the customer engagement interactions. And we have tons of people who have already enabled the platform and are using as we speak right now. Within a day and a half of it, ton of our customers are actually using the AI features and putting them in front of their own customers.
Yeah, it's really been amazing to see the feedback that we've gotten from our customers. And I mean, I just know from my past life as a social media manager that I would have loved to have the help of AI or a tool like Birdeye to help me create content. Especially because it does get difficult just to try to think of different ways to
Yeah.
say maybe something that's similar. And so when you're posting 1 or 2 or 3 times a day, every single day, it the creative juices start to stop flowing. And so
Yeah.
being able to leverage the help of AI to help create captions and really even be able to use it to create images as well from nothing, from thin air, just from a prompt. I mean, I can just imagine on the social side how helpful and impactful that could be, because on like the most of the time that you spend as a social manager is just thinking about how to create that content and then working on creating it. So, I mean, just like you were saying, the amount of time that it's going to save people is going to be remarkable.
And
Now
one
we've
of the things
talked.
that one of the things that you pointed out, Justin, is that yes, as humans, we can create a lot of that content, but you can't avoid that bias to come in. You just had a bad day, and now you have to write something happy and exciting. It just does not come internally. Right? Like it just, I don't know how to do it. I personally struggle with it, right? And do it time and again. There's just so much of bias that is inbuilt into a day life. There's so much stress that it becomes so very difficult. I can tweak it, I can change it, I can modify it, I can bring my own voice. But sometimes I need a little bit of aid, an assistant. We have all become dependent on a lot
Mhm.
of these assistants, thanks to Google, thanks to Amazon. That it just helps to get over that writer's block.
Yeah, yeah, and you could use tools like ChatGPT and other and Bard and things like that to help with this, but when it's integrated with your social platform and it has that contextual data of your business, your industry, how your customers talk to you, your own brand voice, it's just like that, what you were saying, that best of breed. It's just a step higher on that. Otherwise, if you were to use ChatGPT for every single social post, you would have to give it the context of the social post of your business and what you're going for every single time. And you have to be switching tabs. It helps, but it's not all the way there yet. And so I think when you have it integrated like this, like what we do with Birdeye, that's the real game changer. That's the next step. So we've talked a lot about AI, and I think everybody has been talking about AI for the past year. And with that, I've noticed that there's a lot of different conversations happening and a lot of different perspectives about what is going to happen with AI. And there's some that I've noticed that might not necessarily be true and maybe more myth than fact. And so I'd like to play a quick game with you of Mythbusters. And I have a few myths that I put together that I've heard around in our various webinars and just from talking to people. And I'd like to get your view on these. Now, the first one is that I hear a lot is that AI is going to take away our jobs. And I'd like to get your thoughts on that and exactly like, what do you think will happen, or how does that, how will that go?
Yes, I've heard that a lot. And for folks who were able to join in our Google session yesterday, Uday, the field CTO of Google, he said something very specific. He said that AI is an accelerator, it's an enabler. I firmly agree with that. And if you haven't seen that session, do watch it. Hear it from the leaders of the AI space. It's an accelerator. It allows you to do things 5x faster, 10x faster. Will it take away jobs? No, it'll take away mundane work. It'll take away
Mhm.
work that is not adding to the productivity side of the equation. Yeah, as a human, can you read 1,000 reviews and find out a summary? Of course you can. Is it the best use of your time, days, weeks? I don't think so. It's not a good use of anybody's time, right? I would
Mhm.
rather people spend time on, people are giving you feedback on those reviews. There's 50,000 reviews, whatever, big number of reviews that have come in, and there's feedback there. Let's figure out what that feedback is. Get a quick summary of that and spend 95% of your time solving the problems that your customers have, rather than trying to identify what the problem is to begin with. I
Mhm.
want to post different messages on social. I want to accelerate that entire motion, because otherwise, you're essentially doing that same repetitive task over and over again.
Mhm. Yeah, and this really is just the next step in this technological evolution that we're seeing. I mean, decades ago, whenever phones were just introduced, you would have operators who were literally having to plug in different connections for people when they wanted to make a phone call. And now, obviously we don't have that because it's that part's been taken care of now. So the next myth that I have is, and I've heard this a couple of times before, and it really stuck out to me, but I've heard some people say, I've used ChatGPT and other AI platforms, and it feels like everyone just gets the same answers. What are your thoughts on that? Is that necessarily true, or yeah?
Yeah, it's I would say it's a part myth, in the sense that, yeah, if you ask the same question from ChatGPT, the chances are that you will get variations of the same answer, not too different from each other. Yeah, you can always regenerate and get a different set of words, but it's always going to be similar. The secret here is to bring in the right kind of prompts to these models, to ask the right question, provide them the right context. What is it that you're really going after? Bring in the data, bring in the contextual elements. That's where, when we announced Birdeye, when I shared some of the use cases earlier today, at the Birdeye stage, one of the things that I shared and emphasized a lot on is the contextual element. You need to provide that data around your industry, around yourself, around your business, around the tone of what you typically engage with. You need to provide all of those as inputs as part of that prompt, so that you can get the right customized and personalized responses. Otherwise, you will obviously get the same answer back. Now, again, like previously, can you get that answers and those customized responses directly from a chat GPT and Bard? Of course you can, but you will have to do the heavy lifting every time you do that, for
Mhm.
every kind of query, for every kind of use case. And there are tons of use cases, which are better served with Midjourney and other platforms, right? So we go back to that same equation. To get to the right unique tone and message, you need to provide the context. Without that, yes, I agree with this myth that you will always get the same answer back.
Mhm. Yeah, and prompting these tools, as a whole, like if you are using Chat GPT, it is a bit of an art, and it does take some nuance to understand what you say results in a certain output. And we did it. We last month we had a great webinar with a couple of SEO and local marketing experts, Ben Fisher and Steve Wiedemann, and they actually were on today in a session,
I love them.
and
They're all.
in they're absolutely great. I love working with them. And in the webinar that we did with them last week or last month, we went full deep dive into these tools, and we broke down how to actually use them to get the type of content that you're looking for. And like we even broke it down on how to properly prompt these tools so that you can get those awesome results. But it does take a lot of work. So whenever you can have a tool like Birdeye that's already provided with that contextual data, it saves you a ton of time. Now, for the last myth that I've heard, and this one is a pretty common one, and I, I'm really interested in what you think in this. And I've heard people say, "I have so much on my plate, I cannot be sitting here trying to chase the next shiny object. AI is probably a fad; it's going to go away. People, aren't going to really buy into it, and they may not be prioritizing it really or even really focused on it because they think it's just going to fade away." So what are your thoughts on that? Is AI a fad?
Yeah. I think this is extremely critical, to really understand that. I firmly believe, no, it's not a fad. In the Google session that we had on the first day of the event, Kiran shared and compared this to the iPhone launch moment. iPhone is not a fad. This iPhone 15 that launched yesterday, so it's running well. We have moved away from rotary phones and non-touchscreen experiences. It's here to
Mhm.
stay because It's an accelerator, it's a productivity enhancer, it's a better customer experience. Similarly, AI is going to upend the way we engage with our customers at scale. It's bound to do it, whether you close your eyes to it or whether you embrace it. And I would rather have all our customers embrace it rather than the other camp. Because at the end of the day, how do you compete? Let's say you are a dentist and you have another competing dentist, another zip code, another block away. And that person is using, platforms like Birdeye, wherein they are able to engage with their customers at scale, responding to 50, 100 reviews every day, posting 10, 15 social posts on different platforms for different locations every day. And you are doing all of that manually. How many more resources, how many more people you need to put in place to be able to do that? Somebody is getting the summary of all the problems and solving it while you're still collecting all those reviews and trying to make sense of what they're trying to say. It's just not humanly possible to compete with somebody who's on this accelerated belt, so to say. They are moving at a much faster pace than you are, and you need to jump on it, right? So no, absolutely not. I don't think it's a fad, and I think this is something that every local business needs to embrace, because it is going to improve how they engage with their customers, and it will become a pertinent requirement for them to continue to have a viable running business, which is thought of by customers as something, as a business that listens to them, that cares about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think if you're maybe a smaller business where maybe you only have one location, you can handle pretty much all of these mundane tasks yourself, or you might have somebody who can help with it. But I mean, if I could just think about if you've got 10, 50, 100, 200 locations, and you're trying to make sure that you provide the best online experience for all of your customers, whether that's responding to every single review for every single location, creating localized social media content for each location. If you have 100 different locations, that's 100 different social accounts. And that's just one platform. That doesn't count LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that too. So there's a lot to handle. And so the bigger, that you get, the more that you grow, you have to have something that can help you scale with this. Because it's great if you can do it once, but yeah.
And just to add to that, I totally agree, Justin. I think it's a huge multiplier, especially for multi-location businesses, a huge productivity multiplier. But I would even argue that even for a single location business, I think the value is that, let's say you are a dentist, let's say you are a plumber, let's say you are a real estate agent. Your core skill set is not writing. That's not what your core skill set is. You may not be a great writer, not a creative writer. You may or may not have a sense of humor. You may or may not know how to talk formally. There are a lot of nuances around, how do you engage in a public platform like social, like Google, etc. How do you engage with your customers so that you don't inadvertently bring in the biases that we talked about earlier into those conversations? This is a huge leveler. Bird AI and the AI capabilities that we are bringing to the table are a huge leveler, wherein we are giving the opportunity to the little guy and to the big guys to compete at a level playing field, wherein they have access to the technology which allows them to put their best foot forward in front of their consumers.
You are 100% right. In a past life, I used to work on a food truck for Texas barbecue. And the pit master, the guy who owns the barbecue restaurant, was one of the best cooks, chefs, pit masters that I have ever seen. He made the best brisket, best ribs, everything. But the man could not figure out social media, and he could not figure out Google. And so that was just one location. That was one truck. And it was really, really hard to really nurture that online side of the business, because there was just no experience or understanding of it. But it was really, it was kind of sad, because like for me, I was just starting out with marketing, and I was doing this thing as a side hustle, and I wanted to help him grow online, but there's just no real resource to do that, even with one location, because you're so focused on, creating the best possible service or food. And so being able to have a tool that can help you manage this stuff and take away those mundane tasks, or help create, or come up with ideas, can be a huge game changer, even if you do have one location, and especially true if you have 100 or 200.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about Birdeye View, and I thought the first day was completely loaded with amazing sessions and content, especially after my talk with Rebecca and yesterday's Birdeye Live. But day 2 delivered some incredible moments. I really liked the session with the CMO of American Pacific Mortgage, Melissa Wright, where she gave her insights and she talked about how to increase customer retention, loyalty, and advocacy, which is something that is so important right now, and figuring out how to get your customers to keep coming back to your business, especially in a crowded market where maybe you are competing against, some big box stores, big chains where, customers have options. So how do you, get your customers to come back if there are 10 different, options down the street? And, now that even though Birdeye View is over, that doesn't mean that you can't catch all of the action from the past 2 days. And that's because registration is still open and you can view all of the recordings on demand right now. So if you click the link in the caption, you will be able to start watching any of the sessions that we've had. I definitely recommend going back and checking out the sessions with Google and with Microsoft from yesterday. Jay Baer's session this morning was absolutely incredible. And do not forget to catch your session, Deepak, here that we had this morning. And your breakdown of everything was amazing. And, so essentially, if you want to learn from industry experts that cover everything that you need to know, I mean, it really was an all-encompassing conference. We talked about building an online reputation that wins in 2023. We've talked about how to improve your Google presence and standing out on local search. We've talked about creating customer experiences that last and get customers to keep coming back to your business. And we talked in depth about the latest breakthroughs and trends and forecasts for artificial intelligence. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch some stuff because there was so much content I couldn't get through it all. And I was watching from the back end. And so you can still get access to all of this amazing free content right now. So be sure to click that link and check that out. But before we jump off, do you have any parting words for the folks tuning in?
I just want to again express my gratitude to everybody who tuned into the session, everybody who will register now and listen to the on-demand content. I'm pretty sure that will be time well spent for you guys. If you listen into some of those conversations, whether it's an industry conversation, whether it's a Jay Baer session, there are golden nuggets in every session out there. Learn from some of the other customers in your vertical to see how they are gaining that edge in their competitive space. Maybe you can learn a thing or two. If you are a customer tuning into this, the capabilities are now available within the platform. They are all enabled for you. So start using them, start experimenting with them, and let us know what you learn. We are always listening into feedback. We always want to improve. We always want to bring in the best version of Birdeye to you guys. So yeah, just keep that feedback flowing. And if you're a prospect who is super excited, call us. We are waiting in line.
Definitely. That's amazing. Now, before we go, there is just one last thing to take care of before we can put a cap on Birdeye View, and that is to announce the winners of our latest social media contest. And in this contest, it was really fun because we asked the entrants to sign up for Birdeye View, submit a prediction of what they think AI will be like in 10 years. But in that submission, they had to use AI to answer it. And the submissions we had were amazing, but we had to narrow it down to just 3 winners. And the prompt was, in 10 years, I believe AI will ... And you're supposed to let ChatGPT, Bard, Bing, whichever AI tool, Cloud, whatever tool you use, you have to let that finish. And so we've had 3 winners, and I'd like to announce those. So without further ado, congratulations to Jessica Sedgley, Kuldeep Rathi, and Ryan McCourt. Jessica is actually a 2-time winner for our social media contest. She has been absolutely crushing it. Congratulations, Jessica. The entries that we had were awesome, and the answers that the AI tools produced were really, really interesting. Jessica says, in 10 years, I believe AI will have figured out how to solve world hunger, poverty, and climate change, but we will still be using it to make cat memes. Kuldeep's was, in the next 10 years, I believe AI will become an integral part of daily life, enhancing productivity, enabling new technologies, and raising important ethical and societal questions. That's interesting. Not quite cat memes, but still answering those important questions. And then Ryan's was, in the next 10 years, I believe AI will develop powerful solutions to address climate change. And that's an interesting one too. I think that, just the sheer amount of data that we have in that sense, there could be some really remarkable findings when it comes to that stuff. So
I wish all of these predictions come true and more, maybe in 5 years, not in 10 years.
Yeah, I do love how optimistic it is, right? I think AI thinks of itself optimistically, so that's good. So congratulations to all of our winners, and thank you to everyone who entered the contest and who's registered and tuned in to Birdeye View. We couldn't have done it without everybody participating, and thank you to all of our speakers who volunteered their time. It really was a remarkable event, and it was especially amazing because it was our first ever virtual event. And so I think, although it's the first, it definitely will not be the last. So I'm sure we'll be back next year for Birdeye View 2024. But that's all the time that I have for you guys today. Thank you, Deepak, so much for joining us today. And congratulations on just an amazing job hosting our first ever virtual conference. And we'll have to find a way to be bigger next year.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. And thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget to catch all the action from Birdeye View these past 2 days. Just click the link in the caption. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn so you don't miss any other episodes of Birdeye Live. You can also find Birdeye Live on Facebook and YouTube. And until then, we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.